If you think that the spiritual theme that our lives has taken during the past couple of days has dissipated now that the Lenten season is over, well, think again. There are some people, especially in the legal profession, who are still gripped with a different kind of dread, fear, and anxiety as they await the results of the 2022 bar examinations, which will come this Friday. Compañeros, compañeras, welcome to another episode of Dog in the Courtroom. We have a very interesting topic today. One of the most striking discoveries that I had when I passed the bar examination and became a lawyer was the realization of the amount of waiting that happens in practice. You wait for your client to come, you wait for the judge to arrive, you wait for your case to be called. In fact, remember, during the bar examinations, we wait for 1 hour after entering the room to be finally handed our examination booklets. To me, that was the most terrifying, the most agonizing 1 hour wait of my life. Today, the wait is repeated. I'd like to look back with some fond memories and share to you the things that I tried to impose upon myself in order to survive the long, terrible wait. The first thing to do is to increase your workload and activity. There's nothing like being busy to be able to divest your mind of the anxiety and the terrible feeling that judgment day is coming. That was a terrible time. I was able to cope with the anxiety by, trying to double my workload. I come to work early. I volunteered to perform work more than I used to do on a regular day in the office. I was writing at that time, so during the time that the announcement came from the Supreme Court that the bar results will be released in a matter of days, I volunteered to write for the morning news, the noontime news, the afternoon newscast, as well as the late night newscast. So imagine my weariness from that terrible grind. I was working maybe 10 hours, 12 hours every single day, and there was no overtime pay. I just do it for the heck of it so that I will be dead tired by the time I go home and I just crash, hit the sack and sleep. There's no more time to worry. The next day, I will repeat the same punishing routine to be able to take my mind away from the worries of what could be the results of the bar examination be. Of course, it's natural to be worried, but one of the best defense mechanisms you can have is to keep yourself busy, to take your mind away from that terrible, terrible thought of what might happen when the results are finally released. My second way of coping with the anxiety of the bar results was also to surround yourself with the right positive thinking people, otherwise you isolate yourself. During that time, I try to avoid those who are problematic like myself, those who are pessimistic and skeptical, and those who complain a lot, because if I associate myself with them, with these people, the more I feel my terrible situation as a bar candidate waiting for the results. During that time, I do recall that I only speak to my wife, and mostly the subjects of our conversations are light topics. We laugh at the day's events, the craziness that my kids do at home. But when we start to veer into serious topics, I try to change the topic and move on to lighter things. On the day that the bar examination was supposed to be announced by the Supreme Court, I asked my children and my wife to go back to the province in Bicol and spend their vacation there while I'm left alone in the house. So I never followed the results of the bar exams until I receive a phone call with my wife crying on the other end of the line, telling me that I hallelujah, I made it. So I think that's one of the keys that enabled me to survive the dread and fear and anxiety of waiting for the bar results. I surrounded myself with positive thinking people, and at the same time, when I couldn't find the right people to talk to, I'd rather isolate myself and wait for the bar results in the peace and quiet of my home. The third coping mechanism that I enforced upon myself during the wait for the bar results was to find humor in this moment of adversity in my life. I remember during that time, I tried to exaggerate my problems. I said, what if I don't pass the bar exam and I lose my mind? Or I get fired in my job? Or I lose my virility? Or maybe the war between Iraq and the United States would blow up and the whole planet would be pulverized by the nuclear arms. Also, during the long wait for the bar results, I told myself that I should pray to God not for the chance to pass the bar examination, because I realized I would be unfair to God to put him on the spot and make him decide my fortune, my fate in the bar examinations. I would rather be strong enough, brave enough to accept the consequences, to accept the results, rather than leave everything to God. And I wouldn't like to add to the burdens of God by imposing upon him the decision to make me pass or not. All I would ask for is really to give me the strength of spirit to be able to accept what is bound to happen. Maybe if I do that, then the more I would reinforce my faith, and I could be a better person and a better lawyer if I pass the bar examination, knowing that even if the results are different, I would still be whole, I would still be complete as a person. Finally, my last, how should I call it, tip for those waiting for the bar results. Well, this is too radical. I would start preparing for the next bar examinations. I would already start reviewing. That is, I think, the most difficult thing to do. But, you see, if you start reviewing and start to condition your mind that you will take the bar examination once again, it makes it easier for you to accept if results are not necessarily favorable to you. At least you have a head start already. And by conditioning yourself to take the bar examinations, it already eases the burden, the emotional anguish of not getting the desired result. But the bigger surprise is when you find out after the bar examinations results are finally released that you actually passed the bar examination. Well, imagine the relief, the feeling of liberty of that moment. You are already preparing for the next battle only to find out that the battle has already been won. I do realize that if you start already to prepare for the next bar exam, even without knowing the results yet of the bar examination that you have just taken, it takes strength to be able to accept that and to try to move on, to make the first step towards redemption. You know what? The bigger reward is after already starting to prepare and condition your mind about taking the bar again. What if you realize that you actually passed? Imagine the relief, the sense of liberty, the sense of freedom that you feel after preparing already for the next bar examination. Imagine that. If you are already preparing for the worst and you realize that the worst wouldn't happen, then that would be double the celebration. That would be double the joy and the sense of accomplishment and the sense of satisfaction to know that you don't have to walk the same path all over again. You don't have to die twice. You don't have to make the same sacrifices again because you actually passed the bar and you have become an attorney. The early preparation for the next bar examination is not a wasted effort. And for whatever it's worth, it makes you a stronger person. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm shooting this vlog on a Tuesday afternoon. 3 more days and the bar results will be out. I wish everybody the best of luck, and most of all, I wish everybody the strength, the courage to be able to accept whatever the results. See you in court, pañeros, pañeras, and congratulations. Marami pong salamat.